the Detroit Lions moved to 12-1, beating the Green Bay Packers 34-31 and moving to 12-1, tying their best record in franchise history. And the Packers fall to 9-4. We sweep the Packers in the division 2-0. We did not do that last year. I believe we did do that in 2022. Is the only team we lost to in 2022 in the division was the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, it was the Minnesota Vikings. And the Lions sweep the Packers this year. So the Packers basically have no shot to win the division now, so that is nice. You can eliminate them from the division. They're still in a very, very, very comfortable spot. They probably only have to win one, maybe two more games of the 4 remaining games of the season to clinch a playoff berth at some point during the season. They could already make it right now with their record, but they probably are going to need 1 or 2 more wins, probably just one. So they will most likely for sure get a playoff spot, but they are out of the divisional running pretty much. And the Lions move to 12-1. They are now 4-0 on the division. They play 2 more games against the Bears and Vikings. And the Vikings game is going to be a tough one, but the Bears, it's the Bears. So, Lions sitting very comfortable in the division right now. Let's go over the stats like we always do here real quick. Jared Goff had a very nice day, 32 for 41. He was actually very inaccurate to start the first quarter and then kind of turned it around. Went 32 for 41. That's great. That's above 75% completion percentage, which is now his 7th game of the season, which is second in NFL history. He had 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, did have an interception. That is his 10th interception of the season, so he has now hit double digits in the interception mark, which does hurt. I think he had 14 last year, so I think he's on pace to have less than he did last year. But there's still a chance he will have more, so that's unfortunate. Montgomery, the run game, I will say this, the run game was very quiet today. The offensive line struggled. They did only allow 1 sack, but in terms of the run game, the offensive line struggled massively. We did get around 100 rushing yards, a little over 100 rushing yards on the ground, but the yards per carry was not good. Monty had 14 for 51. That's 3.6 yards a carry. Did have a rushing touchdown. Is, I want to say, 13th rushing touchdown of the season. Gibbs had 15 for 43. That's only 2.9, one of his worst rushing days of the season. St. Brown had a jet sweep in there for 10 yards. And Goff actually took off and had 7 yards. I think Goff is on pace right now to have the most rushing yards he's had in a season as a Detroit Lions. So that's pretty cool. Jameson Williams is trying to hit 1,000 yards. He had 5 for 80. I believe he needs around 200, and I want to say 290 more. I think he's got around 710 right now. So, or excuse me, 790 or 810. It's 790 to 810. I can't remember, somewhere around there. He is. I don't think he's quite on pace to do it, but if he has a couple more games, I think somebody said he needs like 75 yards a game or something like that. Did 1,000 for us this season. It's definitely possible. You can hit him on a deep shot, always goes 50 yards. So that's what he's made of. So he definitely has a legitimate chance to do it. Came up big though today. Sam Laporta, in my opinion, has his best game as a Detroit Lion this season. 5 for 54. Made a lot of tough grabs. Tim Patrick also had his best day, in my opinion, as a Detroit Lion, going 6 for 43, catching 2 touchdowns. His first touchdown since 2021, as again 2022 and 2023 he was out with season-ending injury. I believe an ACL and something else. I think it might have been an Achilles, can't remember. But Tim Patrick secures his first touchdown since 2021 and getting 2 of them. So shout out to Tim Patrick. He has come up big. And yes, he has definitely been the Josh Reynolds replacement. Now, they are 2 different type of receivers in my opinion. Tim Patrick is that guy who just, who's there. He makes plays, he's there. Josh Reynolds, in my opinion, is still, if he was in our offense compared to Tim Patrick, he's going to do more just because how he was used. But Tim Patrick is the guy who's always going to come up big, who's always going to make catches, who's always going to get yardage, who's going to make big plays. But Josh Reynolds is always going to be involved in the offense more. He's going to have more design plays for just him. But he's definitely done a great job at replacing Josh Reynolds in terms of the production. Now, he's not on pace to have the same amount of yardage or receptions as Josh Reynolds did last year. I believe Josh Reynolds had around 610 last year. Tim Patrick has around 410. So he still needs a lot to do that. Now, however, he essentially did not really get involved in the offense until week 3 or 4 of the season. He did not play week 1. Barely played week 2. He really didn't get involved in the offense until actually like week 4 or 5. So I do think if he would have legitimately been in the offense for the first couple of weeks, he would legitimately have a chance to break Josh Reynolds' stats from last season. So Tim Patrick's done a great job at replacing Josh Reynolds in terms of the numbers. St. Brown, a little bit quiet day for him. He was off to a great start and then slowed down towards the end of the game. 5 for 43 wasn't bad though. Monty was really involved in the receiving game, 5 for 33. Gibbs was also involved in the receiving game quite a bit, 6 for 30 and a touchdown. I believe that this is it's tied for the first time in NFL history where a quarterback has had at least 5+ receptions to 6 different guys. It's tied for the first time in franchise history. So shout out to Jared Goff, continuing to break records. On the defensive side of the ball, yeah, I want to say this, man. Al-Quadin Muhammad has been probably our best in-season pickup so far this season. He has been unreal. Now, didn't have quite as good of a game against the Packers than what he had against the Bears, but he still had a lot of pressures in there. Still should have got another sack. He's been balling. He only has 1 sack on the season, but legitimately, if he would have brought down the quarterback 3/4 of the times he would have got to the quarterback on the pressures, then he would realistically have 4.5, 5 sacks on the season. He's been playing out of his mind. Anybody else to highlight here? We had 4 Lions make their debut. Jonah Williams, Quan Alexander, Jamal Adams, and Miles Adams. In my opinion, the best one out of the 4 is you can't say anybody. You just can't. I want to say Quan Alexander played it was Jonah Williams or Quan Alexander played the most. I think it was actually Jonah Williams. I was underwhelmed from Jonah Williams. Again, I'm not gonna crap on anybody for this first game because the first game they're not even in the playbook for a week to learn the playbook. So, I'm going to come some slack, obviously. It wasn't too impressive, Jonah Williams. Miles Adams wasn't out there enough. He did make one nice move on the offensive guard, but wasn't that out there enough for me to judge him. And Quan Alexander, same thing. I did like what I did see. I liked what I saw from Jamal Adams, though. Got a couple pressures in there. They're definitely using him as a Fatu Melifonwu / linebacker. So I really like that that's how they're using him and not in coverage because he's really not that good of a coverage safety. And my thoughts on the signings, I love him. I legitimately love him. We did a great job. That is 2 guys on the defensive side of the ball or 3 guys on the defensive side of the ball this season that have been, in my opinion, major signings. Muhammad, Jamal Adams, and Quan Alexander in terms of bigger signings from what they've done in the past and what they've done to affect the team this season, which has only been Muhammad, but in their past, all 3 of them have been very productive. And I do like the Jordan Williams signing as well. I think it will turn out to be good. He reminds me a lot of John Kaminsky, who had the inside-outside, had 2 sacks last season. And I don't know enough from Miles Adams yet to judge him or give an opinion on him, so we'll leave it at that. On the defensive side of the ball, Zadarius Smith was the only player who did get a sack. He should have had another one. I don't know if this is just me, but to me, Zadarius Smith is not playing enough still. They're still putting Trevor Nowaski out there way too much. They had Jonah Williams out there way too much. They had Broderick Martin out there way too much. I don't understand why they're not using Zadarius Smith to his full potential yet in terms of how many snaps he's been on the field. I understand they're still trying to get him acclimated, but to me he's been in the building long enough to play at least 75% of the snaps. He's still only averaging like 55-60% of the snaps every game. That's too low in my opinion for especially how bad our pass rush is still, even though it has looked better over these past couple of weeks. He needs to be in there more than that. He needs to be in there 75-80% of the snaps at least. I'm watching the Panthers and Eagles game right here. Panthers trying to come back, but it's 4th and 7. It's final play of the game. So, but Zadarius Smith, he's been great since he's been here, but I would just like to see him involved in the game a little bit more in terms of more snaps. And on the final play of the game on the offensive side of the ball, Lions are driving down. Jared Goff makes it to get 4th and inches. The Lions decide to go for it. Jared Goff slips and falls. I'm sure you've seen it all by now. Gives it to Montgomery. Montgomery pushes for the first down, runs out the clock, and Jake Bates kicks a game-winning field goal. It was tied 31-31 when that field goal happened, but Jake Bates was able to send it through. Nice. Thielen just caught a first down to win the game. So, Jake Bates definitely bounced back, went 2 for 2 on the day. His game-winning field goal, I believe, was from 43. So, shout-outs to Jake Bates. He is now, I believe, 21 for 22 on the season. Has been, in my opinion, the best or second-best kicker in the NFL this season. He's been unreal. So, let's go over the team stats here real quick. And then we'll wrap up this video and maybe get a live reaction from me from seeing how this game ends. Packers 298. Oh, I didn't even pull this up. Packers 298 to Lions 391. We absolutely dominated in terms of yardage. Almost 100 yards more we got. Passing yards, they had 199 to 280. About doubled them there. Rushing yards 99 to 111. We beat them. Yards per play, they had more yards per play for us. That was one of the only big category where they had more. They had 6.6 to 5.1. 17 first downs for them, 27 for us. Third down efficiency, 1 for 5 to 7 for 15, so about the same in terms of percentage there. Fourth down efficiency, 0 for 0 and 4 for 5. Oh my God. Xavier Legette just caught the ball down at the 1. The Panthers are in the game-winning situation, about to beat the Eagles. I don't think guys have ever gotten a live reaction from me. I know the video is just all over the place, but this is unreal. If the Panthers knock off the Eagles, this is going to be the best thing of the day. I know the Vikings are most likely going to beat the Falcons from how they're playing right now, winning by 2 scores the last time I checked. But I'd much rather have the Eagles win, honestly, than the Panthers. I think they're a bigger threat in the NFC. This is unreal. Hurry up here before the final play of the game here. Total plays, they had 45 to 76 for the Lions. Sacks allowed 1 and 1. Now, I do want to highlight somebody else here. Dan Skipper only allowed 1 pressure. That is a career low for him in every game he's played this season. I believe this is his 8th or 9th season in the NFL. He's been a great piece. I'm not going to lie. He started, I believe, 3 games for us this year. 2 of the 3 games he's played unreal. The Texans game, I don't think he played bad either, but he did allow a lot of pressures. So I wanted to highlight Dan Skipper. He's been a real incredible story. Definitely need to bring him back next year, and he's honestly been a pretty solid backup tackle for us, shockingly. Punts, 3 for the Packers, 2 for us. Penalties, 7 for 59 for Packers, 7 for 56 for us. Fumbles lost, they had 1 to our 0. David Long picked up their fumble that they had. Interceptions thrown, 0 to the Lions, 1. And time position, 23 minutes and 54 seconds for them, and 36 minutes and 6 seconds for us. So the Lions beat the Packers 34 to 31, moved to 12 and 1. This is the final play of the game, and they don't get the playoff. They draw a delay of game. Oh my God! All right, but the the Detroit Lions beat the Green Bay Packers 34 to 31, moved to 12 and 1 on the season, sweep the Packers, and are sitting very comfortable and essentially eliminate, not officially, but essentially eliminate the Green Bay Packers from winning the division. So the Detroit Lions continue to make things happen. They move on to the Bills next week. It's going to be the toughest game of the season, in my opinion. The Bills are the number 2 team in the NFL right now. In my opinion, my top 3 teams right now is the Lions number 1, Bills number 2, and then Eagles number 3, and then probably Chiefs or Vikings number 4. Matter of fact, we'll just give us our top 5 rankings here. And going in order is Lions, Bills, Eagles, Vikings, and Chiefs. Those are my top 5 teams going in order. Bryce Young scrambling out of the pocket, throws it downfield, it's incomplete. The Philadelphia Eagles won the game. Well, there's the video. Now, am I right? Go Lions. There's a flag. There's a flag down. It's going to be after the play. Game's over. It's going to be after the play for unsportsmanlike conduct. Eagles win. Lions win. Move to 12 and 1. Am I right? See you in the next one.